wish for X-ray specs that really work. No, Bart. Peace on Earth. X-ray specs. Peace on Earth. X-ray specs. Peace on Earth. X-ray specs. Peace on Earth.
Forget it, you two. It's the pants wearer of this house. I get the first wish.
There's something I don't like about that severed hand.
Bart, don't flake out on me. That monkey's paw's gonna make our dreams come true.
Did you like it?
You guys voted on primary?
Definitely. Of course.
Yeah, you bet it. You better.
I'll-
You bet.
When I see people with this, what's your take on people wearing the stickers?
I have it on
'cause you-
something. I put it on my phone case, but
What about people taking Instagram pictures of them wearing the sticker?
I mean, it's a little bit of a flex for sure.
It's a
Yeah.
flex,
Yeah.
but it's like a good flex.
It's a good flex, but I don't know why. I don't know what me telling people I voted does other than aggrandize myself.
Yeah, I realized I
mean, I
kind
guess
of get
well,
it as
maybe.
encouraging people who I know to get out there and vote, but my friends already vote.
That's I guess what I was going to say is that there is an element of it does make you when I see it on Instagram and stuff, there's an element of because I have fucking goldfish brain that I
Yeah.
go, oh shit, I
Yeah.
gotta do that today, right?
Yeah.
Which I think maybe that's the value in it, but
I used to wear it to feel superior and
right.
For like
smug.
for multiple weeks.
I wouldn't take it off. But yeah, no, I didn't wear it this time. I actually put it on my shirt on the way to work and then
Nice.
took it off before I went in.
Let me ask
Wow.
you this: if you're wearing it in the past to feel better than everybody,
Yeah, and then
and then you
everyone's
see
wearing
somebody,
it.
no, yeah, but then you see somebody that's not wearing it. Like, do you push them down a hallway
Yeah.
and kick them and stuff?
This is what
No.
you do. You go this.
I'm too busy feeling smug. I don't even notice the people
This voted
around
sticker.
me.
You see
They're
this
too
one?
little. Yeah,
This is from November 1997.
yeah. This is when I voted for.
this?
Yeah.
This is Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, these are like collect like archived.
Seriously, though.
I love that idea.
Oh my god.
Cool.
Anyway,
That's what was going
that
on
was
this
that was a
week.
big thing this week, so
Yep.
can't be understated. This is Did You Reddit, a weekly podcast about the internet by way of Reddit, the front page of the internet. My name is It's Your Dad.
Oh, and I'm Dog Boobs.
My free day down here.
I feel like I've gotten a significantly better radio voice over the years of doing this. I
It's
feel
a-
like I know how to. My name is It's Your Dad.
Hell yeah.
Oh, like the guy from the Daily,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Michael Barbaro.
Michael Barbaro. This what else you need?
He's really got that down to a science, doesn't he? One thing he does I love is every once in a while he'll be, he's interviewing somebody or he's listening to somebody talking. He goes,
Oh yeah.
He does that. He does that like,
Talk about the hms.
yeah. He loves doing that. He seems like a pleasant guy, Michael Barbaro. I'm going to be disappointed when he's accused of sexual harassment.
I heard that's the one thing keeping the New York Times in business.
Michael Barbaro.
The podcast,
I mean, bro, it's a slapper.
which is
It's one thing keeping us in business, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, podcast. That's where we break all of our news to the Times.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that
what
doesn't
a week,
surprise me.
guys! What a week, right?
What a week.
Do you guys feel that there's an element of
Magic in the air.
there's an element of magic? Do you guys feel the magic
Then
right now?
yes.
Do you feel that do you guys give money to things that you don't actually really like or enjoy or use, but feel like it's almost your duty to participate in the funding of that thing? So like the New York Times, for instance, or like the LA Times. Like I think I give money to the LA Times. I read it like maybe once a fucking month, right? But I like every time I'm like, I got to cut my payment to that. I'm kind of like, well,
Yeah.
but it's kind of, I kind of need to support it. You know what I mean?
I really don't.
There's a couple things like that on Patreon too. Like there's a group called what are they called? I mean, well, Meme Insider, I do that with.
Are they called the Funky Jesters?
The Funky Jesters, I give a lot of money to, but I do read the Funky Jesters. So.
Oh, that's a real thing?
No, it's not a real thing. There's a group called
Sounds like a music blog that Dog Boobs and I missed.
The
Yeah.
Funky Jesters.
We
Funky
don't.
Gestures is just like
I
Brian
love
Setzer Orchestra style music. It's a big band.
We're all the cool music people. Hey.
It's called New Models. That's what it's called. New Models is a really good, it's a super good kind of highbrow intellectual internet group. And I do
What is
listen,
it called?
listen to their podcast, New Models.
And it's a highbrow,
It's fucking
coastal
great.
elite.
I feel like I've sent you guys New Model stuff before. They're all based in Berlin, so it's kind of like the global coastal
You
elite.
sound so snooty right now.
I am.
an internet snooty. I don't know is there a word for that? But
I'm just
you're
saying.
it.
What I'm trying to say is
Berlin.
Why do we even
Paywall?
Why do we even need to talk to
Yeah.
the Middle America? They're lower than
My
us.
turtleneck will do
They're
the talking
lower than
for
They're
me.
lower. my turtleneck will do the talking for me. But anyway, the reason I brought that up is because the New York Times is one of those I think I probably contribute to too, and I don't even like the New York Times. I don't even like believe in their like point of view most of the time. But I feel like it's an institution that I would be devastated to hear that A, they died, or B, like there are fucking Hershey's ads that like precede every article because they can't fucking afford it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's something.
Also throwing it out there, Middle America, you're not lower than us.
Well, most
A
of you
lot
are.
of our listeners are from Middle America.
No, we
You're
were-
not lower
No,
than us.
I'm Middle America, man.
Yeah. Same. I mean,
You used to
Illinois
be.
is smack in the middle.
I know I wear this coastal elite mask, but I am deeply Middle America. I'm wearing a camo hat right now.
When I think about it,
Drinking of Code Red.
I'm probably
Yeah.
more like disassociated from like nature and
Right.
like the world than most people in Middle America. Not from the world, but like nature and my
an
soul.
It's an interesting point. Like we don't.
What happened with that monologue? What was that?
I don't know, you guys.
You're having a moment.
I'm having
Dog
a
Boobs is
moment.
literally 48 hours
It's
into a new
Super
job, and she's already trying to quit.
It's Super Tuesday week. It's been a lot.
That's true. That's fair.
2 days after it. Okay.
What else happened on the front page this week before we get into what are we talking about today? We're talking about
Monkey's paw.
the monkey's paw, which I actually don't know anything about. Dog
I
brought
know.
this up, and
I can't remember if someone on our subreddit suggested it, and I'm sorry if you did, and I'm forgetting. But it's a really funny concept based on
Right.
a short story, but it's a really funny concept. And
Right.
We'll get into it.
and
Nice.
yeah, so Dog brought this up. Very funny concept. I don't know anything about it, so I'm going to be learning along with you. And I will say, if we didn't decide on this, that we're about 8 hours away from doing our crows.
Yes. Maybe we have to do
So we
that
have
one
to
next.
do it next time. So my buddy Harry, shout out Harry, he's a big listener. I think Harry's actually the perfect, in some ways, our perfect listener, because I think he started listening to the podcast. I think he was a passive Redditor, and now since this, he is like doing what we do, where he finds these subs. He's just like, "Have you heard of our crows?" About people.
The crow phenomenon is fascinating.
It's a great fucking. It's a great look, man.
They on average score better on their SATs than most kids in America.
Crows. Wait,
Yes,
what?
That's a fact.
Okay.
They're smart as hell.
Yeah, they're very tribal.
So the whole
And
point
they're
of
mean.
this, so from what I can tell, and this is according to Harry, this is a group of people all trying to befriend crows. That's the whole point.
Yeah, cool.
But
So
I
it's like
think
tips and tricks to get the crows on your side.
It seems that way. It seems like it's tips and tricks, but also in celebration of crows, right? So one of the top posts right now is a total of 13, but clearly they were communicating with another handful nearby.
Let me ask you this.
Somebody taking a photo of crows.
I mean, eagles get a good rap, but I think they're kind of they display a lot of qualities that we wouldn't consider reputable.
Whoa, you're an
They're-
eagle apologist?
Yeah. No. I mean,
You're an
Crow?
You're an,
Eagle?
no,
you're
a crow apologist.
You're a crow apologist. You're an eagle
Hater?
truther.
Truther.
Yeah.
Eagle
Eagle
truther
truther.
shit.
They live alone. They eat other birds, so
Ooh.
they're like cannibal birds.
Yeah.
No wonder they're America's favorite thing.
Their
Yeah,
eyes.
that's right.
Their eyes
Their
are
eyes,
scary.
they're just creepy. They're very like they got like a whole like kind of white power thing with the head and the hat
Yeah.
going on, which is don't get me started there.
I think we're establishing a pretty clear thing here, which is did you Reddit is a very pro crow pod, very anti
Eagle.
America's bird, the eagle.
And if you're marching down the warpath and there was a group of people with flags with eagles, you'd be like, all right, they're like flexing a little.
Yeah.
They must be covering for something.
Right.
But then you see those guys with the crow flag, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm staying away from those guys.
Oh yeah.
The crow flag guys, like, watch out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Danger, straight
I
danger.
try to ingratiate myself with the crow people.
right.
I'd be like, hey, need another crow
Yeah.
on your team?
Yeah.
I don't want to be allies with them, you know?
They
Yeah.
seem really scary, but also smart.
Yeah.
But like,
That's
there's-
the thing about crows. They seem very intelligent. They
Yeah.
can use fucking tools, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah,
and
I-
then-
I saw one with a roto hammer the other day, just
Yeah.
swapping out tires.
And on the same day, it's like I see a video of like an eagle stuck in mud on the dodo,
Fucking
and it
idiot.
needs to be
Yeah.
like rescued.
Yeah,
and I'm
and
like,
everyone, and then all the hippies are out there like, "Oh, the eagle." You're like,
yeah,
come on,
the
you
poor
guys.
eagle. And
Yeah,
I'm
I guess
like,
you're right. I mean,
a
I guess
crow would never.
if somebody was walking down the street and somebody put out their arm and an eagle landed on its arm,
Yeah,
I'd be like, okay, I see
Yeah.
what you're doing. I see your
tight.
flex. I think you've practiced this before. But if I see a guy who does the same thing,
covered in 30 crows.
yeah,
Right.
or he doesn't even hold out his arm. He just walks and the crows land on his shoulders.
like that lady from Home Alone 2, the
Yeah.
pigeon lady. It's kind of like, but
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
crows.
Yeah.
Substitute the pigeons for crows.
That would be that. Does it doesn't feel rehearsed,
right.
and B, it feels like it's harnessing demonic energy.
Yeah, that,
Very true.
it is way more badass.
The
Yeah.
one
Can't
exception
believe we're
I
still
would
talking
say,
about this, to be honest.
I
But-
know. The one exception is I saw a short little documentary
Oh.
on like rural Mongolian
Oh, yeah.
hunters that have the
Okay.
golden eagles that like land
that's
on their
cool.
arms, and like they'll ride horses, and
Yeah.
then the eagle will like jump off their arm and like go kill something.
But that's different, though.
Oh, it's
that's like
so
that's like
cool.
American bread versus European bread. You know
It's
what I mean?
true,
Like
it's true.
you know, like
It's like a different league entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're not even talking about that level of eagle.
Yeah, GMO seeds,
Yeah.
oats, wheat. Don't get me started.
Don't even get me started.
Ugh, wormhole.
also, by the way, a group of crows is called a murder of crows.
Oh,
So
man.
in
So
addition, yeah.
metal.
And a group of eagles is called the pussy of eagles.
I mean, you draw your own conclusion.
Exactly.
Do the math.
Oh man. Well, that was that.
Did
that
you
was
see that pussy
segment.
of eagles flying by? Gorgeous, son.
Gorgeous.
Did you capture that?
Um,
Beautiful.
all right. Well, that was a good segment.
Woo, ha
All right, moving on. So anyway, we were going to talk about crows. I guess we kind of did, but we didn't go into the subreddit because the subreddit is interesting. We'll do it another time.
That was a teaser.
Yeah, maybe we'll have Harry call in and we can just talk about crows with him. Maybe we'll have him get into it. Anyway, all right. So we're going to talk about whatever the fucking what was it again? The monkey's paw.
Monkey's paw.
We're going to talk about the monkey's paw, but before we do this, let's talk about the front page this past week. So not really. We don't need to get into it because we've talked about this many times. But you know, the hot news this week, of course, there's two things, right? Super Tuesday, right, and Reddit. And I love Reddit for this, but Reddit is clearly a Bernie platform, right?
Yes.
Like it's the front page is always tons of Bernie stuff, and I love it for that. And maybe that's part of the reason I'm a Bernie head is because I relate to these people.
Yes.
And there are Bernie heads. So the top right now is, you know, we see. I mean, we did see that Bernie won California, which was a good deal. But the other piece of news that has obviously been dominating is the coronavirus.
Oh yeah.
This reminds me of when we talked about Hong Kong, and we like talked about it casually. And we're just like, it's gonna go away, and then it didn't go away, and it became a revolution.
Yeah.
right? And
Still going
Shout out
on.
Ethan Klein on his podcast for like really talking about coronavirus. Like I listened to a couple episodes where he was like, guys, this is a bigger deal than they're making it out to be. Like
Really?
like 2 months ago.
wow,
And he was
interesting.
freaking out about it, like he freaks out about stuff.
Yeah,
I
and
was
he
like-
called it.
And then it's kind of he's on it.
He's pretty good at that, actually. Like
It's
I feel
good
like
instincts.
Well, that's kind of part of what H3 has always done well is they like will bring up something that's problematic, like the YouTube shit, and then it becomes increasingly problematic as if they had called it in
Yeah.
advance. And so, you know,
Right.
Nostradamus, early this modern day Nostradamus, Ethan Klein, shout out. Anyway, so the coronavirus thing is interesting.
I've noticed people are they're calling it COVID-19, which is like the
It's
technical
the real name, yeah.
which is fine, but it seems like there's a rebranding going on in real time. Like I've noticed people on Instagram that happen to be like sort of like wokest leftists
Right.
are like leaning hard into the COVID-19. And I was wondering if you're calling it Corona, is that like the old-fashioned way of doing it, and is COVID-19 like the more enlightened, woke way of? I've just noticed people on like line being like calling it like COVID-19. You're like, when did that happen? Like, when did we call it that? Is that what it is now?
I think it's
whatever it is. I don't care. Just like tell me what it is.
I think it's the beer industry trying to change the narrative.
Maybe.
I mean, it actually could be that legit where, because there have been a lot of interesting byproducts of the coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it.
Well, let's just pick one name is all. I guess what I'm saying, because it's gonna be confused. People are gonna be like, oh, there's a new disease.
Yeah.
You're like, no, it's the same one.
Well, the other thing too is like a coronavirus is a kind of virus.
Yes.
So so calling it the coronavirus is like kind of a misnomer.
Is it calling it the flu when it's like this specific strain of the flu?
Yes. It's like this flu versus calling it the Spanish flu, which was like a very specific thing.
And different from Spanish fly, which is what Bill Cosby used to rape chicks.
It's
that true?
different.
Yes.
Spanish fly?
That was like a drug.
Wow. You guys, interesting.
Okay, different.
He used to do comedy bits
for a different time. Yeah.
In the 70s, there was this thing called Spanish fly. It was like a sedative. It was like a drug. And he used to do comedy bits about giving women Spanish fly. Like in the 80s, he would do comedy bits about it.
Oh,
for 20 years, he would talk about it as a joke. And then it turned out he was actually raping people.
Everybody's like, oh, you were serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
You guys, COVID-19 is the name of the disease caused by the coronavirus.
Right.
Oh.
So it's actually two different things.
That's confusing then.
Oh,
so,
that's fascinating.
See, I see people using either one willy-nilly, and I'm like, what's the difference?
I know.
Right.
Coronavirus disease is COVID-9. There you go. There you go.
You know what?
So what should we say?
I think I caught.
Should we break? Should we just
COVID-19.
tell should we set a standard for the rest of the world right here, right now on this podcast?
I think it's the way.
Yeah.
A medical standard?
I mean, this is what I will say. I don't think coronavirus, the brand of the concept of coronavirus is too strong now. No one's going to stop calling it the coronavirus. It just
think so,
rolls
too.
off the tongue.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone already knows that word.
Everybody's already saying it. Right. COVID-19 is like it feels a little bit more.
Sounds like SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which you just, it's not the same. So
It does sound like a crack team of like Israeli spies or something.
Yeah.
But that one, I mean, the COVID-19 / coronavirus thing is hot in the news. The byproducts, so we briefly talked about beer, which is interesting because there was that bizarre statistic that came out this week that kind of got passed around the internet a lot, where it was like 46% of people say, I think maybe it's actually been higher, it was like 46% of Americans say they would never have Corona beer because of the coronavirus. Which was like, which was like, it was misleading because evidently it was like, they were kind of, it was a disingenuous study because it was like people don't like Corona beer.
Yeah. Except for me.
Or something, and then they kind of attached it to the coronavirus. I don't remember the exact story, but
They're like compared to a microbrew was like the back end of it or
exactly.
something.
And but the interesting version of that conversation is the fact that there are industries that are suffering now because of the coronavirus with seemingly unexpected consequence. Like, we have never seen what is happening before. I at least haven't. I don't remember. I mean, we were talking about this at my day job yesterday, and people were just like, "Oh yeah, well, it's kind of happened during Ebola." And I was like, "Not really. Nobody was like canceling sporting events because of Ebola." Yeah,
SARS a little bit. I remember, but it did not get this bad already.
Do you know what Ultra Music Festival is? Have you ever heard of Ultra? It's in Florida.
Yeah.
It got canceled yesterday.
Really?
The Olympics will get canceled.
Yeah, the Olympics is on life support right now. I mean, what they're saying about the Olympics is like, people are using the word cancel a little bit liberally here, where I think Corona.
I mean, it is cancel culture we're living in right now, so it's like I get it.
Fair.
You know,
True.
But like, you know, with the Olympics, they're basically saying like, we're going to postpone it for sure. I don't think we're going to cancel it, right? They might cancel it, but it's just like they've built so much infrastructure. I mean, you spend basically 8 years building this thing.
Well, you'd have to do it
to demolish it
next summer.
I mean, it would be next summer, or it would be in the winter, right? Oh, I guess you can't do it in the winter for Japan because Japan. Yeah, it would be postponed
unless they move the Tokyo Olympics to Scottsdale, which would be tight.
I mean, that's basically what they were saying.
Deserves to build up a bit. You know?
We know you guys don't have the infrastructure, but like there are like 6 high schools we could probably use their gymnasiums. So, yeah, but I think that's
a bummer for the athletes. Really.
It's a bummer for the athletes.
Those guys are the unsung heroes of all sports.
Well, the other thing too that has been happening, and this happened in Italy, is Italy until April they have said that all of their sporting events, primarily being soccer, of course, is has to be played to closed stadiums. So they're continuing to play, but to literally stadiums empty.
It's kind of
Right.
cool.
God,
Kind
that's
of.
so weird.
It's not. I don't know if it's
weird,
cool,
man.
but it's interesting.
I mean,
guess.
this could happen with
Yeah.
the NBA playoffs too. Like we might run into this with the NBA playoffs where like they're going to be playing, or like March Madness, for instance. March Madness, right around the corner, right? Realistically, they might do March Madness to entirely closed stadiums. Right?
Whoa.
Will they pipe in on speakers crowd noise and people going like "fuck you"?
Yeah, maybe.
Give me
actually.
beer, Jim, and like all those cool noises.
Maybe. They just have
I mean,
that
to make
repeated
it
on loop.
authentic.
Yeah.
Because if it's just quiet, it's bizarre.
It's bizarre. I know exactly, and so that's, and you know, I read yesterday that or somebody told me that some airlines, I think maybe American Airline or one of them, I don't remember which one, but like one cut their flights, domestic flights, by 10%, and then their flight bookings is down 75%.
Yeah, all those international. They're not doing international.
No, yeah, nobody's flying to Korea, nobody's flying to Japan.
My
Nobody's flying to
wife
China.
and
Right.
my huebi are currently on the East Coast and have to fly today.
Ooh,
Hopefully they get back.
I got
Hopefully
some
they-
flights next week, so I'm gonna be doing a
Where are you
similar
going to
thing.
the East Coast? There's a lot of there's also
Chicago,
a lot of
Boston, maybe New York.
there's a lot of hype about COVID-19, but there's also a lot of like if you read into it, there's people saying like this is not as big of a deal as the news is making it out to be. Like,
Right.
it's the flu,
Yeah,
and it's a new kind of flu,
right.
and that's kind of it.
well,
Like people.
I think it's a combination of things.
Because if you look at the overall flu statistics and death statistics, like the flu still kills a shitload of people, and this
Yep.
is nowhere near that.
well, it is. I mean, it kills 0.1% lethality is the flu every year.
Oh, so this is a higher lethality.
This is a
rate.
3% lethality.
So it's 3 times if it gets to
no,
the
it's
size.
30
Or,
times.
sorry, 30.
Yeah.
If it gets to the same size as the flu, it's 30. Yeah.
Or 300. I don't know.
So we'll see. But I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
what's it said? 3,000 deaths and flu's like at 35 a year.
well,
1,000 a year
but
or something.
this is so I've thought a lot about this.
I just think there's probably, the news takes things like way this way,
Right.
and then there's all these naysayers. It was like somewhere in the middle.
I mean, the problem is the fact that they don't have a vaccine for it yet. Like that's the issue. Is because if the thing that it seems like everybody's worried about is like, yes, it feels iterative of the flu. Like the Black Plague killed 30% of the people that got it or whatever, right? So it was like, like it was a virtual death sentence. It was very bad. It wiped out a third of the world population, right? This is not that. Everybody says it's similar to the Spanish flu of 1919, which I think it had like 2.8 lethality. Of course, also a different time period where like, we didn't have as many, nobody was traveling internationally like they are now. Like there's a lot of reasons why it would have been a different time.
Mm-hmm.
This one, because we don't have a clear vaccine and they're working on it and trying to figure it out, it's a little bit of it's a mixed bag because you don't know how it's going to spread. You don't know the circumstances it's going to spread. And honestly, like this is something that speaking of the Daily, said that really hit me, which they were like, cool, if you think about like a 0.1% with the flu, maybe you know somebody, if you know 1,000 people, that means one person that you know is going to die of the flu, which is like, you might know 1,000 people, maybe you don't. Maybe passively know 1,000 people. When we're talking about this flu, it's like 100 people, 3 of them will die, right?
Yeah.
So it's like everybody will know somebody. If this spreads the way people think it could spread, everybody will know somebody that has died from this disease, right? Which, does put things into perspective. I mean, the global population, or like America's like 400 million people right now or something?
3/5.
350. So, 350, 3% of that, it's a pretty significant chunk, I mean, that's millions of people. So,
yeah.
so it is low. And it's like, I think for us and for your children, Fareed, it's like very, very minimal risk. Like people say that, nobody has died below the age of 10 from what I've heard.
That is very reassuring because honestly, when you have kids, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but apparently this is like if you're older and you smoke,
Yeah.
you're highly susceptible, which
Yeah.
happens to be men mostly. So it's like a lot of
Men in China. That's like the main.
That was a
the main
crazy
thing. Yeah.
statistic on
Yeah.
the Daily. 85% of men in China smoke.
Yeah, isn't it
And they
wild?
smoke
Yeah.
like 2/3 of the world's cigarettes,
That's fucking insane.
which is pretty tight.
Good for them. That's tight. Yeah.
It's good to be on top, that's
Good to
all
be
I'm
on top.
saying.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, the economic byproducts of this are really fascinating, and all the weird ripples that we're going to see that we've never really had to consider before.
Even around here, I live near a Costco, one of my favorite sponsors of the pod.
Costco, shout out.
they're-
Thanks for sponsoring us. As usual.
They're sold out with waters and stuff. Like people are stockpiling here for stuff.
But that's what's
I've
so
never seen
fascinating. Like,
that before.
Yeah, and people aren't. But
Yeah.
people
you
aren't.
guys stockpile? What do you
stockpiling-
got? Macaroni?
No, definitely not.
Bullets?
We probably need to. We're not like nobody's stockpiling
Macaroons.
Macaroons?
macaroons and bullets.
I've got like
I made a
bags
mis-
of macaroons.
I made a terrible mistake. I got macaroons and I misread it to dead macaroni.
bags and bags
I'm on-
and bags of macaroons.
I'm on day 4.
Jill just comes to you and be like, "Well, we're stuck in the house for the next couple weeks. Like, what do we got?" And you're like, "Well, we got macaroons. My mistake. I understand. And bullets. We don't have a
Bullets
gun, but we
and
do have
macaroons.
bullets. Yeah.
Everything's
That's really funny,
fine.
yeah.
I don't. Who are you shooting? We're shooting the squirrels.
But yeah, I mean, it's whatever. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, this is gonna be we're probably gonna have this conversation over and over again. Hopefully not as long and not as in depth, but like the one reassuring thing is there are less cases being reported in China. Granted, it's impossible to say what reported means in China because for all we know, they're literally like somebody reports it, they shoot him on the spot, they fucking bury him into a mass grave.
I got on conspiracy the other night on
Yep.
Reddit.
Oof.
I mean, it's like
Fun,
a hot.
fun place to be during a coronavirus.
Oh, there's so much shit going on right now in
Right.
the world that like I got on there and my computer almost like frazzled out.
Yeah,
like
of course.
there's coronavirus.
Did it
conspiracy.
frazzle or was it the FBI?
That's what I was saying. It was definitely the FBI. But the politics stuff, the birdie stuff, the coronavirus, like there's like maps of like geothermal maps over Wuhan
Right.
where there's like
Oh,
they're
yes.
saying like gases
Classic.
are being
Classic.
released because they're just burning bodies. And it's some like phosphorus when you
Right.
burn a body,
Yeah.
like this gas comes off and like people are like breaking it down. You're like
13,000 bodies.
13,000 bodies just got burned in Wuhan right now. You're like, oh, jeez.
Oh, conspiracy. Never change conspiracy.
But right now it's like it's very peak conspiracy.
Right, exactly.
I would say.
So what else is on the front page before we talk about Monkey's Claw? So this is actually an interesting one that I think is it falls into the wholesome news category. 8 down from the top, a conservation group has closed a $15.65 million deal to buy the largest privately owned giant sequoia grove left on Earth, an ancient forest with hundreds of endangered redwood trees, which can live for 3,000 years and rise nearly as tall as the Statue of Liberty. Which is nice, rare. Usually we see this in it's like fucking ExxonMobil buys forests to destroy for fossil fuels, right?
Yeah.
And so this is nice to see that there's. I mean, this is really the thing that when we talk about the political cycle and we talk about all this kind of fucking money going around, like goddamn Bloomberg spent $500 million on his campaign and dropped out because he won America's Samoa only. Like Flint still doesn't have fucking water,
I know. The
right?
first thing I thought was, wow,
Yeah.
the stuff you could have done with that money.
And there's so many things like this is a great example, like 15.65 million, right?
That's like a sneeze for
That's
a
a
lot
sneeze,
of
like-
guys like us.
Yeah, Bloomberg spent $500 million on his campaign. 15.65 saves an entire species.
You know what would
right?
be baller is if you were Bloomberg and you just started doing stuff like this,
Right.
and then you just put like, this forest was saved by Michael Bloomberg. Like that was your ad,
That's
and
true.
you just did that for 10 years, and you
Yeah.
solved the Flint problem, you solved
Right.
the tree problem, and then when you ran for politics, you said, "Look, I fixed everything already.
right.
Of course, I'm going to keep fixing
I
everything."
mean, that's the way. That,
I mean,
that
that's
would be the way to do it.
Money
Yeah.
better well spent.
Yeah.
And you can go hang out there and be like, "See that sequoia?
Right.
I own that shit."
I mean,
That's a rich guy move.
It's
Like,
a rich
see that-
guy move.
See that 3,000-year-old tree? That's mine.
and I get it. I mean,
Seriously.
this kind of goes to the same thing we've talked about with like my homeless plan, right? Like when I'm homeless or if I ever become homeless, here's like the massive multi-million-dollar company I'm going to be in, right? Which is why I'm not homeless. But I think it's the same thing, or not why I'm not homeless, but hopefully it doesn't have you know the deal. But that's kind of the same logic with the billionaire logic, where you go like, if I was a billionaire, I would spend my money on these good things, right? And like, well, that's why you're not a billionaire, because you don't fucking only think about making money and screwing people over. You know?
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So
Goes
yeah,
both ways.
Yeah, but I mean, that is what we would like. So here's actually a good meme format. So there are two things that have happened on the front page, internet wise, I think are pretty compelling. So one, meme format. Speaking of the coronavirus, we're seeing a lot of normal sick people with coronavirus because this seems to be the thing that's going on. This is let's see, 14 down. I'm sending it to you guys right now. So you'll see like, and this is true. It's like there's people that are sick, and you're just like, oh, I'm sick. I can't leave my bed. Right. But like coronavirus, like evidently the guy in New York, there's a guy in New York had coronavirus. This is what I've been told at least. He got coronavirus, Jewish man, Orthodox Jewish man, and like went to a bar mitzvah, went to work, went to a fucking like went to a funeral. Like he did like everything that you can do because he had like symptoms of the coronavirus. But like we don't think like if you're just sick, if I'm like have the sniffles or I'm like, oh, I got a small cough, I'd be like, I'm fine. I'm not gonna use my goddamn sick days on a cough, right?
Yep.
Even though I might have coronavirus.
No, we've trained ourselves to not
totally
like to fight through it and be like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be some pussy of eagle.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be an eagle.
Yeah.
Stay at home when I get
Stay
sick.
at home,
Yeah.
watch TV all day on a Monday.
Yeah.
Right, dude. I'm going to work.
Exactly. And so
That's like, I think, 75% of people would probably,
for sure.
50% of people are going to work, 50% are staying home. So, and out of those 50%, 25% of those do have corona, and they're just like young and healthy, and they don't
Totally.
feel that bad.
Totally.
Like there's a version of getting this where you're like, yeah, I feel like a little off.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so that's the meme format is like normal sick people and then people with coronavirus, and people with coronavirus are always like doing tons of things
Yeah,
and running
yeah.
out and that's a funny form. I've seen this format several times. Every iteration's a little bit different.
I saw one that was like the top was Cameron from Bueller's Day Off.
Oh,
That's what
nice.
that movie's called, right?
Ferris Bueller's Day
Ferris
Off.
Bueller's Day Off. Just had a brain freeze. And then the bottom one was just like a cartoon of a woman like dancing through a field, and it was just like adventure awaits and
Yeah.
like dancing through the world. It's like what is with they like travel more than everybody else.
Right.
They're always on adventures. Oh yeah, here it is. I'll send it to you.
I
It's
also-
like Belle.
I think sometimes too about the idea of there's an element of like the herpes vibe in this too.
I had the same thought.
Where it's like eventually like everybody's gonna have it and people are just gonna be like, oh, you don't have coronavirus?
Yeah.
Fucking poser, you know?
Normal people when they are sick, and then there's a picture of Cameron.
Right.
I feel like complete shit. I can't go anywhere. And then people with coronavirus. And it's Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I
Right.
want an adventure in
Yeah.
the great woods
Exactly.
somewhere.
The other thing we've been
Nice.
seeing a lot, so since we last podded it, we did the leap year thing. So we're seeing a lot of images of like elderly woman born on February 29th, 1920 celebrates her 25th birthday.
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's about as wholesome as it gets.
It's
and I
very
love it.
wholesome. I mean,
Very.
she's got a goddamn beautiful smile. And this is peak like Greatest Generation or Boomer humor, right? More Greatest
Yeah, I
Generation
would
than
say.
Boomer.
Yeah.
Like boomers would have put in something stupid in there.
This
This
was
is
the-
just like
Yeah.
just good, you know?
And then there's one of these on Dank Memes
Right.
about, I don't know, somewhere down the list. And it says Americans born on February 29th when they turn 21 and they're finally allowed to drink. And then there's the picture of the old grandma from Titanic. And then the quote says, it's been 84 years. Because that's what she says in the movie. And it's, it's a classic
Right.
joke. It is a little, the February 29th thing. I'm like, hasn't Elon figured this one out yet? Like, what the hell?
Why
real.
do we still have this random fucking date that we throw
Every
in there
4
once in a while?
years, there's
Yeah.
an extra day on the calendar. I mean,
And we got daylight savings this weekend.
like,
Is it this weekend, really?
Yep.
We losing or gaining?
We losing.
God damn it.
We're springing forward.
Fuck, man.
I know.
damn, plant your trees and stuff.
Is that what,
Is that a thing?
is that what you did?
That's what you do in that extra hour.
I
You,
I
guess.
didn't know that.
You shaft
Wait,
more
we
harvest.
get another hour or we lose an hour?
I think we lose an hour.
So we're getting less sleep.
less sleep. So don't plant those
man.
trees. You don't get to plant the
Yeah,
trees.
you gotta
Oh.
harvest.
Yeah.
This is a harvest time.
No, it's not. It's definitely plant time. Because
Yeah, it's
it
spring.
stays lighter longer in the afternoon. So what you can do when you get home is you can go have a catch.
Right.
You can go play with your hula hoop.
What?
All the stuff.
I don't understand. Farms?
What you will be doing is stuck in your office still
Yeah.
because they're like, it's still light. You have to stay till it's dark out.
Yeah.
And then that's when you'll get to go home.
Here's an insane thing.
Yeah.
Because
That I
yeah,
saw.
it'll be light at 7 now instead of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I feel like this year with the Australian wildfire, I mean, 2020 has been a fucking hell of a year so far. It's been a lot of crazy tragedy has begot us, but I have become.
It was a pretty lit year.
It's been thus far a pretty lit year, but I didn't know. I feel like my general understanding of Australia was minimal.
Yeah.
Right? And we've gotten to know them a little bit more through the tragedies that beget them. But also, there are little things that every once in a while I see. I'm like, wow, it is fucking chaos over there. I had no idea. Right?
It seems like chaos.
It seems like chaos. And so this is a link from Well That Sucks. 23 down of this past week. It is 108,000 upvotes. So the road between Canberra and Broome in northern Australia is closed due to flooding. Below is the closest detour on paved roads. And it is literally, it is a circle around almost all of Australia.
A continent.
It's a
basically.
66-hour trip.
Oh my God.
Because it is so uncivilized is not the right word. It is so underdeveloped in that part. Which is,
I'm sorry, guys. What do you expect from the bush? You know,
It's
pretty good.
Is that
expert.
Jeff's road crew?
yes,
Jeff
Yes.
the
Jeff, the Aussie.
Jeff the Aussie
Australian-
who looks like a woman at Boston Red Sox games and makes
Yes.
out with drunk guys.
Yes, yes.
insane character that we developed that one time.
That is in.
Shout out somewhere
Insane.
between episode 1 and episode 70 or 80.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, this is
That is pretty
I just
wild.
you don't really think of it.
No,
I guess.
I think, like,
you don't
you know-
realize how fucking huge
Also
Australia
huge.
is.
But I guess
Everybody in Australia lives in basically like Boston if it was
Wow.
America, right?
Yeah, well-
everybody lives in one place essentially.
Yeah. Well,
there's like one other city.
Yeah, Melbourne and
Canterbury,
Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide.
which is the East Coast. There's like an eastern
Yeah.
rim.
Yes,
The
exactly.
capital is Canterbury.
Is it?
I know that.
Didn't know that.
I know stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we would never have. I mean, the closest to this for us would probably be up in like Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and then maybe New Mexico and Arizona. But we don't really have this kind of.
You're not
stretch
driving
of
any more
nothing.
than 8 hours without running into something.
Yeah, I mean
Pretty
that
legit.
latest. But anyway,
Maybe they're onto the right track.
maybe they are on the right
Conservation.
track. What else we got? Anything else before we want to get into Monkey's Paw?
I think we got to kick it up a notch and hit the monkey paw.
I think we do it.
We better grasp that monkey's paw.
Whoa,
like it.
dude!
I enjoy that.
This monkey paw thing is kind of scary looking.
It is. Maybe we need to hit that blue button as we transition.
Is that what this is? All
Yeah.
right. I
So,
was
guys,
briefed
if you have-
when I walked in this morning about exactly what we had to do because you guys had this like this like really sophisticated
Yeah.
plan for some reason about how we were supposed to present this.
We were playing with Charlie with the buttons, so we figured out which buttons were the best for this one.
Finally.
And now you guys are now like my charade is down. You guys are like, why does he always struggle with those buttons? It's really easy.
Now we're like, duh, the blue one, the blue one. That's
really
the one.
easy to remember.
It's also
You're
like
I
a
don't
good
know.
code button if you were listening
Yeah.
with your family, which we know a lot of you listen with your kids at night.
Yeah, we have a pretty very family friendly pod we have
This
here.
is
Yeah.
rewarding. This one could be scary.
Yep. you have dinner, then you force your family to sit
Right.
down in the living room.
In front of the
Force your family.
Yes.
In front of the
I'm
phone
picturing-
box.
Picturing a father forcing his kids to silently sit in the living room and his wife shut up and listen to the newest episode.
Listen to this podcast
It's
about the
story
internet.
time.
Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom.
And then be like, yeah, like a group of eagles is like a pussy of eagles or something? Like a murder of crows? Dude, I would like to befriend crows.
What's a group of dolphins called? I think they're called a boner of dolphins.
I think they're
Honey,
called
how much longer? The kids need to go to the bathroom.
a boner of dolphins.
Owner of dolphins.
Oh, that's
I love it.
primo content. All right,
Primo
so,
Gryffindor right there.
Primo Gryffindor
Yeah.
content right there. All right, so the monkey's paw. So I think before you read whatever story this is about,
Yes.
it's probably worth reading the sidebar
Yes.
because I don't even know the basics of what this thing is.
So the monkey's paw is a subreddit. Again, I've said earlier, I'm not sure if it was a suggestion from someone. It could very well have been, but it's really a fun-looking subreddit. There's like some like stone at the top, a really creepy looking like like shriveled up monkey's paw
Right.
icon, and it says about the community, do you ever wish for things without thinking through them first? Do you ever struggle with finding the downsides of your hopes and dreams? Well, whatever the case may be, the monkey's paw is at your service. 413,000 members, 5,000 are on right now. It was created in October of 2017. And yeah, I mean, the rules pretty much are all posts need to start with "I wish," and the rest is just, there you go. So the concept of the monkey's paw, before we talk about it, I think we should read the Too Long Didn't Read the Monkey's Paw story. There's a longer one that was written by, let's see, who was it written by?
W. Jacobs.
So it's a short horror story, but they made a Too Long Didn't Read version that's perfect for us because we don't like to pay attention to something too long.
2/3 of us can't read.
Yeah, exactly. So, you guys want to hear it?
I do.
Okay, hit me with a blue button.
Cool.
Put your kids in bed.
Okay,
Bring your kids out.
ready?
Get them out of bed.
Get them out of bed.
Wake them up. Yeah.
Sit them down. Tell them to shut up.
All right.
An old family friend named Sergeant Major Morris shows up at the Whites' house. So the story focuses on Mr. White, Mrs. White, and their adult son, Herbert.
Herbert?
Herbert.
Oh, Herbert.
Herbert.
Okay.
Sergeant Major Morris shows up at the Whites' house, sharing stories of his adventures. During the talks, Morris pulls out an old mummified monkey's paw, said to have a spell placed on it, to grant 3 men 3 wishes each. Morris used his 3, as had other men. Another man. This is great. Morris wants to dispose of it, but worries about selling it, so he throws it into the fire. Mr. White rescues the paw, despite Morris's warnings about messing with fate. But eventually, Morris gives in and shares the secret of making a wish. Morris leaves after supper, and Mr. White is unsure of what to wish for, feeling he has everything he needs. He ends up wishing for £200 to pay off the rest of his mortgage.
Okay.
Must have been nice. And the paw moves in his hand. Little monkey paw moving in his hand.
Whoa.
After Mr. and Mrs. White go to bed, Herbert sees a vivid monkey face in the fire, so he puts out the fire and goes to bed. The next day, Herbert goes to work at a factory. He dies in an accident. He got caught in the machinery. His work sends a representative home to tell the family that the business claims no fault, but as compensation will pay them £200. Mr. White faints.
You just want me to hit the blue button over
No,
and
you
over
gotta
again?
hit the hamsters on the wheel, the green one next to it.
Oh, wait,
sorry.
purple.
See,
Purple,
you guys
purple.
fucking don't know it either. Whatever, man.
That one.
That one, the bottom left purple. Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. White is angry and grief-stricken. She demands that Mr. White wishes their son back to life, and he does so. Some time passes, and loud knocking on the door sounds. Mrs. White realizes it took so long for the knocking after the wish because Herbert would need to walk the 2 miles home from the graveyard.
Which one?
Yeah, it's good.
We have a very limited group of sounds. They don't all apply to the
I
same
would have
shit.
done the no one there.
We've done that like 6 times today.
Mrs. White.
Classic.
Mrs. White races downstairs to open the door, and Mr. White, fearing that it is the mutilated body of his son, made his 3rd wish. As Mrs. White opened the door, there's nothing to be seen. Too Long Didn't Read for the Too Long Didn't Read. Man wishes for £200 and his son dies as a result. He wishes his son back alive and a loud knocking is heard on the door. His 3rd wish makes whatever is knocking vanish. The monkey's paw isn't about weird side effects or clever rephrasing. It's about messing with fate and having hellish consequences for your wishes. I'm not here to pass judgment on people's wishes or answers or the spirit of the subreddit. Just passing this along since a few people have been asking for something like this. And there you go.
So what happened? What was the 3rd wish? What
The
happened?
3rd wish is when they heard the knock at the door, it dawned on him that, holy shit, this fucking monkey's paw is busting my balls again. My son is here, but it took so long. I know his fucking body just walked from the graveyard. So if my wife opens that door, she's going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, my mangled son is over there.
Yeah, so his third wish was make it disappear. Just make him disappear.
So then it goes away.
Yeah.
And then
it's like you got nothing out of it. But they
so
got
the
to pay
3
off.
wishes were just garbage.
They got to pay off their mortgage, which was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
You know what it reminds
Credit
me
score
of?
through the roof.
I know, through the roof.
fair.
It reminds me of an old episode of
Twilight Zone.
oh yeah. You know what? Probably Twilight Zone. I was thinking Darkwing Duck myself. But there's like, you know how there have been like episodes of cartoons in the past where if there's a genie or you get 3 wishes or something, how you have to be so fucking insanely specific, otherwise the genie will be a little tricky.
Yeah.
Like if you wish for, I want all the money in the world, and then suddenly you have everybody's money and everybody else is dirt poor.
Right.
And you're like, holy fuck, I didn't mean like that. And you have to be like, I would like you to take everybody's money, in theory, duplicate it, put that money into a suitcase, and leave that on my front step at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Ring my doorbell once. And that's my wish.
That's
Like,
pretty good.
Could he, but so that's the point of the subreddit.
Right.
You make a wish that you think is like ironclad,
Right.
or you just make a wish for fun, and the people in the comments will be the monkey's paw and will fuck up your wish.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the ripple effect of fate. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you just don't know how.
What a fun concept
Right?
for a sub. Yeah.
It's so cool. So the monkey's paw in general is a symbol of desire and greed. So
Right.
everything that its owner could possibly wish for and the unrestricted ability to make it happen. But the power makes the paw alluring
Right.
even to unselfish people who desire nothing and have everything they need. But it ends up,
Right.
making things
So
worse.
a good example of this. So this is a little bit of my favorite karma sub, right? Which is roast me,
Yeah.
right? Where you just like rip on people and fuck with them, right? So like, I wish that every cute woman in the world got an orgasm right now and it lasted 3 minutes, right? And then like the top comment is, granted, your girlfriend didn't have an orgasm, right? So it's like your girlfriend's not cute. Invalidated. Right?
Oh.
Burn.
And then the second one is, granted, your mom has the best orgasm in her life, and thus this results in your dad splitting up with her as he will never be able to satisfy her at that level.
Ooh.
So your parents get a divorce.
Yeah, these are monkey's paw moments.
Granted, this is a long one. Granted, this is 3 hours ago. Shit. So this is a very active sub. Granted, most of the female population on Earth has an enormous orgasm that lasts for 3 minutes, as almost all of them would be called cute by somebody in the world. This causes the unprecedented level of chaos, as a great deal of those women haven't experienced such a long-lasting and strong orgasm, resulting in most of them collapsing in the middle of what they were doing. Millions of car crashes happen worldwide, with so many dead that it takes a while to count them all. Women fall in the streets, seemingly convulsing, resulting in mass panic and hysteria. Countless mothers lose their babies, and they fall over and hit themselves or their babies in the utter confusion. One of NASA's female astronauts has an orgasm mid-test, resulting in a catastrophic accident and the delaying of the NASA mission to Mars. Additionally, everybody experiences seeing Merkel have an orgasm live on TV. The whole of civilization is put on the brink of collapse until those 3 minutes are up. When the dust settles and billions of men and women calm down from the absolute storm of that experience, they start repairing the damage and to find the culprit. Rumors that it's God's intervention, Allah's punishment for women, some cruel joke from the Hindu gods, or an attack from an extraterrestrial being arise. Then, as the internet is getting back on track, somebody sees your post. Immediately, international suspicion falls upon you, and with swift action, you are identified, dragged out to where you hid, and judged. You're sentenced to life for your crimes against humanity and are imprisoned in a cell all alone for the rest of your life. Your family is ostracized by millions upon millions of grieving people. And your location kept secrets so that you aren't outright assassinated. Governments try to figure out how you did this thing, but after a lot of effort, they find nothing and keep you locked in. On the plus side, there are millions of younger girls and dissatisfied women who want to feel the orgasmic bliss again and making petitions to get you out and do your magic again. Fucking not wrong. Yeah. There you go.
Spooky.
That's
Wow.
spooky. That's
That
a spooky
is.
orgasmic story.
The Monkey's
Shit.
Paw is a supernatural short story by author W.W. Jacobs, which is published in England in 1902. So it's based on this book.
Based on a short story.
Let's talk
specifically.
about themes, guys. What do you think about themes? What is
Are there
what does it mean?
are there specific? Are we talking like themes like you mean like just us discussing it like a Like a
Wish-
college course?
yeah,
Like,
like a college course. But did you read it?
Like ASU college
no.
course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I don't know. Themes are like fucking, dude, like tits, I think, maybe.
Like tits. Well, I mean,
Is that what it felt like being in college at
Pretty
ASU?
much. Like someone
Okay.
would raise their hand and be like, like physics. I see what the equation is tits.
I think it's a boner of dolphins. I think I saw a dude over at Lake Havasu today.
I mean, I think one of the themes that's definitely like be suspicious of something that feels too good to be true.
That's a good theme.
Jig
Right?
Watch what you wish for.
Yeah.
Maybe you got everything you need right here.
Right. Mr. White wasn't like a greedy dude.
Yeah.
He
Think
was
through
fine.
it. Think through your actions.
Yeah, he was fine. He was not like a greedy person, but like, I'm sorry, some dude comes up and is like,
Right.
I got a monkey's claw, and doesn't want to go into detail about what happened to him or the other guy. He just is like, I've got to throw this monkey's paw into the fire.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
First of all, dude,
I'll try it.
why you got that monkey's paw?
Where'd
Yeah.
you get it?
Where'd you get it? Were you chopping monkeys' hands off in
Yeah.
the jungle? That's kind of effed.
And if I'm friends with this man, and this man brings this dangerous thing into my home
Covered with like fleas. and
with
stuff.
my family, covered in fleas, and it twitches in my hand,
I found the severed hand outside.
and he
yeah.
lets me grab it out of the fire and throws his hands up and goes, well, your funeral, and leaves, I'd be like, no, you come back here. Tell me what the fuck this thing is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what happened to you? Like, you're my
Yeah.
friend. We've known each other since college.
Yeah, Jeff,
Chief?
you're my friend. You don't just leave like a
No,
supernatural hand.
What
It
the
could,
fuck is this?
Yeah, it could
You
eat.
brought it into my home.
And all of a sudden, it's fish hooking your cheek. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Why is this hand fish hooking my cheek as a monkey's paw?
No kidding. I'd be like, get this thing out of here.
Damn.
Take it with you.
Wow, this is a really
Yeah,
fun, creative
throw it
stuff.
into a river.
Unintended consequences, I think, is the theme, right? It's
Yeah,
like-
it's a big part of it.
but it's you see a lot in like everyday, even politics and stuff. It's like someone has like this fix-all idea,
Right.
and then it has 10 other unintended consequences that seemingly
Right.
cause way more problems. And it's like, oh yeah,
Yep.
maybe we shouldn't just like, assume one thing's gonna fix everything. I don't know.
No free lunches, I think is
Nope.
the theme here. That's really what it is. This is
I say
Friedman
unintended
economics.
unintended consequences. Like, be careful what you wish for. Try to be content with what you have. Maybe there's
I mean, it would be this. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if somebody gave me this monkey's paw, and all of this was proven, and they were like, you can literally get 3 wishes, things could erupt into chaos. I mean, this is a little bit like
there
time machine math too, right? Like, I'm
It's
gonna
like-
go back and kill Hitler, and then all of a sudden, like, snap to the future, and you see that fucking fill in the blank other thing that like FDR Truman like becomes a dictator because Hitler was killed. You know what I mean?
there were lessons to be learned from
Yeah.
Hitler, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of maybe part of this is appreciate the devastation too. Maybe that's part of the theme. Like when you can't pay
Yeah.
your mortgage, there's maybe some value in that.
Well,
You got to be okay with that.
you signed up for a mortgage, so you're going to pay it off. It's not like an evil curse, the mortgage.
Yeah.
Like, you asked for a mortgage.
true.
Just fucking pay it off. Like, it's you agreed to it, and nobody like bestowed it upon you. So this guy's trying to cheat the banks, dude.
No free lunches,
Don't
dude.
cheat the banks, dude. What are you, a
Yeah.
scumbag?
What are you, a fucking eagle? I wish every time these geese honked, they'd explode in a cloud of confetti. Granted, there's no magic though. There's no magic though. The military just gets funded to go around killing them with handheld confetti-filled rocket launchers. Instead of healthcare or education, we have $1 trillion war on geese.
Whoa.
There you go. I mean, that's
So-
Wow.
This reminds me of when I was in. I think I maybe have said this story before because for some reason this left a huge impression on me. But I was in a gifted class growing up where we had like it was one of those like you got taken out of your normal class with a bunch of other
Is it gate?
smart kid. No, I don't think so.
Even beyond gate.
Something like that. Yeah.
BB Mensa.
Yes, baby Mensa maybe.
Maybe.
But it was we got taken to this room and we did all these different kinds of tests and shit. And our teacher, one of our like early like activities was we had to give her instructions to how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, fun.
And I was just like, and it was a really telling moment because it was just like we went around the room and each person would give their instructions, and every time it would become fucking mangled because they wouldn't describe the things
yeah.
that needed to be done as clearly and as detailed as they needed. Because you don't go like grab a knife, because then all of a sudden it's like, which side of the knife? You grab the fucking you grab the actual sharp part. They cut their hand. There's blood everywhere.
Wow.
Right?
Well, yeah. You don't realize, like, if you're trying to give instructions to someone who's never
has no fucking
like
idea.
A blank slate. You've got to be really specific.
Yeah, you go like take 2 pieces of bread, put peanut butter on the bread, and then like they scoop it with their hand, they put it on the sides, and you're just like, that's not how you do it. And be like, you didn't tell me how I do it, right? So this reminds me of this a lot. It's like, it's really like there's kind of there's the moral, ethical things to be gleaned from this, and then there's kind of the more like how to survive and how to make friends and influence people vibe, right? Which is like, learn how to speak with detail and being able to explain things, Yeah,
it's like make your statements like bulletproof.
Exactly. Yeah. So
God.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element too of this where it's like some of them are not kind of the obvious consequences. You think like, oh, cool, maybe that could happen, right? But like, I wish every time a geese honked, they'd explode in a cloud of confetti. Okay, like the next one down is granted, but they split into smaller geese. Which is like, if that happened, you'd be like, that doesn't fucking make any sense. Why would that have happened, right? But, granted, the ecosystem is now completely fucked up. No more geese. Things they ate are now multiplying like crazy, and everything is thrown off center. I'm surprised no one said this yet. So this is a really interesting creative exercise.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested too in seeing, like, a lot of these are not very specific. Like they're clearly trying to get somebody to go to town, and get some strange responses. But it would be interesting to see how if you could give something extremely specific, if someone eventually were just like, this is pretty bulletproof.
Yeah.
Can't really fucking fault this one,
Right.
So old creepy guy walks up to you now and offers you this monkey paw with 5 wishes.
Yeah.
Do you just keep on walking?
I would take
By
it.
the way, that happens every day.
Yeah.
It's called heroin. And I say, no, thank you.
No, thank you,
I do
sir.
not. No, thank you,
My
sir.
answer is the same as it was yesterday and the day before.
I am staying
No.
clean.
I mean,
I do not want your drugs.
the monkey's paw is a
Monkey's paw.
great name for a street drug, to be honest.
You want a little monkey's paw?
I'd be like, is this anything like the JJ story? The JJ, what's his name? The W.W. Jacobs story? He'd be like, it is actually. I'd be like,
It's kind of a.
I don't think I want your drugs, sir.
Maybe
Yeah.
it is a euphemism for heroin or some kind of a drug. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
it's like,
yeah, for anything.
short-term feel good, long-term fuckery.
Right.
I don't know. That's a class in ASU too. Short-term feel good, long-term fuckery.
So what would be, so I guess if somebody were to offer me this, I'd be like, I'll take your paw. I might not use it, but I'll take it.
Oh, that's cool that you'll hold on to it for a later date.
No, I'm gonna save the world from it. Be like, I'm gonna take this one for the fucking team.
I'm going to wait till the alien invaders
Keep it in a
come.
glass
You know what I'd do?
jar.
I'd say, I wish this paw never existed.
Wow.
You know what would be cool is to keep it in a glass jar in your garage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when as you age, as like 12-year-olds come over, you go, hey kid, you want to see something crazy? And then they go, fuck off, old man. And then one day
Fuck you, old guy.
they steal it from you though. Because
Oh yeah.
And then it's a Jumanji-esque movie
That was
happens.
I was just thinking Jumanji.
that's cool.
I mean, this is also very Rick and Morty. It's extremely Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? 'Cause this is kind of like the whole premise of Rick and Morty is that like Rick does something weird that like he didn't expect the consequences, or like he knew it would happen and he just like fucking ignored it, and then things go haywire and whatever.
I just sent you guys 2 pictures of a Simpsons episode with Homer and Bart with a monkey's paw.
Damn.
So it's been covered in TV, and it does feel Rick and Morty-esque.
Monkeys.
But it's just a I don't know, because we all want something easy, and I think like to me the message is there's nothing easy. You can't just get stuff. I mean, it's like winning the lottery. Those people all just shoot themselves in the face
Yeah, I mean,
eventually.
it's kind of true. I mean, there's a little bit of more money, more problems in this.
This is a funny one. I wish that everyone had a counter over their head that shows how many times they've orgasmed in their life so far. And the person says, granted, your significant other's counter is at 0.
Sucks.
Oh man, that would be interesting because then the guy is probably super focused on making her orgasm, and then it just never happens.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this problem.
Right.
And then he starts taking he gets those dick weights, those ones that
Yep.
you hang, and then his dick gets all mangled.
Yeah.
And then it's now that's not.
Now you
working.
got a problem.
And now he's trying to do other, and it's just it gets worse
Yeah.
and worse. And it becomes his life
Totally.
becomes about this.
But isn't that
And his
also,
wife's like, "Look, I was happy before.
Totally.
I wasn't one of those people that needed to orgasm 40 times a day."
yeah.
But in a lot of ways, this is also a byproduct of this is also an interesting parable for just how shit works in general. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
See, this is the themes I was trying
Right.
to get to the bottom to. Mike.
I mean, this is I always say this about people that are left-handed, right? Where it's you're left-handed. The world is not going to shape around being left-handed. You just got to be left-handed and be okay with it and figure out how to adapt to being left-handed. Not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Easy enough, And there are a lot of things like this where,
No free lunches.
no free lunches, but also, this is kind of also a half glass empty, half glass full thing. It's you do something,
Yeah, it
it
is.
ends up catastrophic for whatever reason, and then you just it's the equivalent to being I got a DUI, or I fucking, was climbing a tree and fell and got paralyzed, and now I'm paralyzed from the waist down. It'd be sucks,
Yeah.
really bad. I'm so sorry. Now what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? How do you fucking cope, right?
Yeah.
Which is brutal, but it's also that's life. That's how
the
it
most
fucking works.
effective
Yeah.
attitude, but it's it sounds, yeah. People don't like hearing it.
I mean, am I wrong?
No,
Yeah.
you're not, but people
Yeah.
don't like hearing it.
Of course,
So
yeah.
it's people get offended
Yeah, of course.
when you say I know where you're at is tough.
Right.
But from here moving forward, it's best to adapt
Yeah.
and move on.
And I'm not. This
You're-
is
it's
not
a victimization thing. It's
Yeah.
you don't want to treat yourself like
Well, this isn't saying.
lump.
This isn't saying I'm not empathetic to those things. I'm just saying that there are certain cards you draw that you don't really have a choice. And it's down to everything. It's to be why am I not 6'5", man? I really want to be 6'5". Be I'm not 6'5". I'm not going to be 6'5". It doesn't fucking matter, right?
yeah.
You could get leg extenders.
Yeah, but then it's a thing where it's it doesn't matter. So adapt to life the way you are,
Yeah.
right? But this is the same thing with the monkey's paws. Be I want all of Jeff Bezos' money, right? Cool. Now the federal government's after you. Amazon stock collapses and the whole fucking economy gets destroyed. And then you go, fuck, now I got to deal with that.
Yeah,
God
now
damn it.
everybody in the world hates you, and
Yeah.
you're burning forests.
Right. So, but then
And you're
at
married to
point,
that. You're married to that news anchor girl.
exactly.
God.
But at that point,
And
then
she's
you
like,
go,
Jeff, Jeff, are we? Did you make the reservation at the fancy place in my?
The fancy place.
the fancy place.
you know, that's what my restaurant would be called in Miami.
The Fancy Place is a great name for a restaurant. Yeah, this is an interesting sub, man. This is definitely a thought provoking. Not as thought provoking as crows,
No.
but
really makes you
thought-provoking.
stink.
yeah,
There is,
nailed.
there's definitely some jewelry out
Very
there.
self-congratulatory for that one.
You guys wear jewelry. You guys both are wearing a lot of jewels.
I'm
I
wearing
can
a lot
see.
of jewels right now.
I-
yes.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of our listeners don't think that, but we all typically wear tons of necklaces.
Yeah, jewels.
Necklie.
We like calling them jewels.
Jewels.
I'm wearing a lot of jewels right now. No necklaces,
No.
just jewels.
But it'd be cool to get maybe a little monkey's paw on a necklace.
Very.
Wear that around.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. When I was little, I liked those little rabbit paw,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
little
yeah.
good luck
Are those
things.
not couth anymore?
Well, I guess
Severed
my mom
hand,
the
yeah.
whole time kind of thought they were gross.
It's
So
like
she,
the foot of an animal.
yeah,
I mean,
she
it's,
weaned me off of
it's
them.
literally a mummified foot.
Yeah,
So,
it's like a real animal's foot chopped off its body
Yeah.
and put onto a keychain.
So,
Which is fair.
Yeah, I'm saying
It's pretty
that,
gross.
but a
they were
chimpanzee's paw is 2 times the size of yours.
Yeah.
I'm saying wear that on your neck.
oh, that's a pretty,
Walk
pretty
into the
baller.
Oh my
office.
god, it would look like a gigantic human hand. So massive.
You're right.
I mean-
as the hair would fall off over time, it would
Yeah.
just be like a skinned hand.
Oh,
Yeah. To be
You'd
honest,
and people would be like, "What is that?" You're
you,
like,
you
"It's-
just
Oh, my
started a
monkey's
new
paw.
job, so your window of being able
Yeah.
to do this is very short. So
Very.
you kind of need to do it now or never.
you set the precedent."
Yeah.
really? I need to do it early, or should I wait until I've become accepted by them and
No,
then
you
whip
need
it
you
out?
need to, because if you do it now, then people go,
She's
guess
always
she was
worn
always
it.
she was always that
Yeah,
woman, right?
this is her religion, I
If
guess.
you do it later, people are going to be like, "When did she change?"
Yeah, you're right.
So
Where did she buy that human hand?
Where'd you buy that human hand? On the dark net?
on the dark net. Where'd you get that on the dark net? That's funny. This is cool stuff. I like it. Wow, I love. So we are literally. I'll hopefully we get this out sooner than later, but we're in. Every time a presidential candidate drops out of the race, we get this wonderful, beautiful meme that I just it just brings me much joy. That we see with any celebrity when it's time, Warren, come join us, and it's all of the presidential candidates in heaven.
In heaven.
And there's a lot of really funny ones that you got of course, like you have Tom Steyer and you got all those, but then you have
Fuck, that's a lot of people, man.
a lot of people. I don't know who this gentle old man is in the middle.
Who's that guy in the bottom right with the shitty haircut?
He looks really funny.
What do you think the big
A
beef
Beto in
about
there.
Lizzie Warren was that people didn't buy?
Well,
it?
here's-
Like,
I mean,
I'm
some-
trying to just kind of in a nutshell. I mean,
So I think that she had some integrity issues, from what I understood.
it seemed
Yeah.
like there was some stuff that kept popping up where you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, she did say she was of Native American descent for
Right.
like 20 years,
so funny to
which
me.
was pretty fucking weird
Yeah.
and not cool.
I find it insane that Trump still calls her Pocahontas, though. It's so fucked.
God, I know.
But that's also another reason why it maybe never would have worked.
Yeah, of
Because like
course.
yeah.
there was always he was just gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unless she put on a feather and did like the stereotypical like woo 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 woo.
Yeah, and then was like, fuck you. Just shut the fuck up.
And that's kind of what you would have to do to get back at it or
Yeah.
something like that, or
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, she and then I don't think it helped her when she like she made a lot of people look bad on the debates because she was very sharp. Mm-hmm. But it almost made her look
Caddy.
yeah like mean or something.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's
that- I don't agree with that.
That's a tough like anti-feminist argument.
I think that's how
Right.
people see it. You know,
Yeah.
but whether
I
or
think
not
she looked like pretty badass up there.
I think she looks pretty badass.
But I think she should now like endorse Bernie, and then Bernie should bring her on as the VP, y'all.
I think
She's
that'd be
great.
a pretty banging cabinet. Yeah.
She's like pretty progressive now. She and Bernie were like cool together on the stage,
But
you know.
she started fucking calling him like a sexist and shit though.
I don't think
That
he'll ever
turned
do
weird.
That was really odd. I think she was just like poorly managed at that point. I think
Yeah.
somebody was like trying to go for the guts and they couldn't pull it off. But
And
anyway,
can you
rest in
imagine
peace her campaign.
letting like her sitting back and not being
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the mix like it does.
Yeah,
Be
of course.
like,
She doesn't
yeah.
seem like that kind of person.
I generally speaking was kind of fell in the way that most people did with Elizabeth Warren, where it was like Bernie's our guy. If he doesn't get nominated and Elizabeth Warren gets nominated, that's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that tended to be the way it was. I think that I have no ill will against her. I hope she's great. I think it is a bummer that people maybe were tough against her because she's a woman when she
I
deserves the respect that because she is very sharp and very good. I think that
yeah,
the
she
things
was
that
arguably
probably
the best in all the debates.
yeah, the thing that probably got her the worst is like there was a small track record of problematic things
yeah.
that I think and I think honestly like
yeah.
because she has performed so poorly and then Super Tuesday happened and she also performed poorly. I think that previous to this, you know, when Buttigieg and Klobuchar dropped out and immediately went on Biden, I think a lot of Bernie supporters were just like, Warren, you're not going to win. We know you're not going to win. What the fuck are you doing? You're just because that was one of the things that happened with Bernie is like he lost Massachusetts because it's split between him and Warren, right?
Yeah.
And there were a few different cases of that where everybody was kind of like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Yeah, and she was not doing well at that point.
yeah, she
It's
didn't
like,
win any delegates. Like, so
there
it was
some
never going to
stubbornness.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like, I think a lot of people started getting really bitter about her because that was like, come on, like you're fighting the wrong fight now. And then it started becoming a conspiracy theory thing where a lot of people were just like, she must have been promised the VP by Biden, which still may be the case that she like
was tanking
has a
Bernie
deal.
to-
Well, yeah, because she is an institutionalist. So like the DNC, knowing how they function as like a fucking mafia, very easily could have been like, Warren, stay in the race till after Super Tuesday, and then you can drop out whenever. You're going to be good in our book. We'll put you on any cabinet.
Tight.
Fucking chill. And she's like, okay.
Why wouldn't that shit go on? I'm sure it does.
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed. But anyway, so wish her well. But yeah, so I think we're all got to go to our respective things. Monkey claw. The monkey's claw. Fascinating.
Scary, terrifying.
Yeah. This
Watch out what you
definitely-
wish for.
This feels to me like it'll end up being a tattoo I get.
Yeah.
Just because this is the kind of shit that I get tattoos of, and I probably shouldn't.
This feels like
You
a
should.
one you get around like a necklace
Yeah.
tattoo.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I mean, every time I find some weird esoteric thing that has meaning that I only kind of relate to, I feel like I get a tattoo of it. So,
I'm texting you guys a picture of the tattoo that I want to get.
is it a monkey's paw?
No, it's the Simpsons dog with a cigarette.
Oh, Snowball.
Yeah, I saw it and thought it was really funny.
Really, really. I love that you and I have very different
Santa's
takes.
helper.
Yeah.
Santa's helper.
I'm just like,
Helper.
this tattoo will never lose meaning because there's so much to unpack with it. And you're just
Yeah.
like, this is a dog smoking a cigarette? It's kind of funny. I'm going to get a tattoo.
I love
It's
it.
the opposite
I
of
know.
a monkey's paw.
Yeah,
different.
But it also is everything. So,
it is everything.
You know.
Okay, cool. Well, hit a couple randoms. Close this boy or girl or they
Yeah.
out. Oh, Jesus Christ. No fucking way.
What?
Joe Biden.
You got the Joe Biden sub?
I got the Joe Biden sub. It has-
Interesting.
guys, listen to this. This is some fucking bullshit.
What in the hell?
There are
They listening.
8,000 readers on the Joe Biden subreddit. What? The Sanders one has like 4 different subreddits, all with like 1 million people. Joe Biden has that. This is fascinating.
Man, oh man, you guys.
I'm gonna.
His people are not on the WW.
No, they're not. But that's part of the fucking issue. I can't believe I just got this. This is actually problematic, to be honest. It's like kind of a scary reality. What do you guys got?
I got cross-dressing.
Oh,
It says cross-dressing, live life. And it's a
Oh,
safe
I love
space
that.
for cross-dressers of all genders as well as their family and significant others. And it has almost 100,000 members.
live life is a really,
I love
really
that.
nice slogan for that.
Me too.
community.
I know. I think that's really cool.
Because that is kind of the interesting thing about cross-dressing is like it's like the idea of just like wearing a dress because you're just like, I don't know, it looks nice. I like the
Yeah.
color pink and it seems more
Like,
comfortable.
Oh my God, there's so much dumb bullshit in the world. Like, just wear what you want, wear what makes you happy. My God, have fun.
Is it considered cross-dressing if you're a woman wearing like male shit?
Yeah, I think it does.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it's easier for women to wear male shit than males to wear women shit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Undeniably.
I would imagine cross-dressing is when you're like trying to pass as,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
a man if you're a woman and a woman if you're a man. And maybe I'm an idiot.
Right.
Maybe we should do cross-dressing as an episode someday so
We
we
definitely
really
should.
can learn it.
I would like to get into that. I would like to have somebody who actively cross-dresses that we can talk to about
Yes.
the complexities emotionally of that experience.
Yeah, so if that's you and you're listening, reach out to us on our
Yeah.
the Did You Reddit subreddit because
Yes.
I'm actually trolling that thing lately. And
Trolling is not the right word for that,
No.
but I know what you're saying. Yes.
yeah, I'm actually
should-
on that thing
Dog would-
pleasantly.
Dog Moose is
Do we
a
need to
troll on
Do we
our
need
own
to clean
subreddit.
up some business from that?
We do need to actually clean up business. Hit a random and then we'll end with a couple
Chronic
business
pain
posts.
is what the random I landed on, which is kind of an
Oh.
interesting one. I feel like I don't know.
Chronic pain. Legalize it. Weed.
Legalize it.
So a couple little housekeeping issues. I know this is the end of the pod, so bless y'all for getting to this point. So first of all, we have a special episode coming up with a guest. We're fucking psyched because we've been kind of referencing trying to do this for a while and we've never been able to figure it out. But we have a teen. We have found a teen, potentially 2, right?
We have possession of a teen.
We have a teen that we have chained.
Yeah, potentially 2,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard back from teen number 2.
Well, we have at least one teen that we're going to discuss teen stuff with. Trying to get down to the bottom of teenagers. One of my favorite subs that I just don't get.
Yeah.
And then second, we made some goofs on our jokes sub, evidently. So, and listen, we're not fucking experts. We said this like 1 million times in the beginning episodes or the early episodes. And we've kind of stopped saying it because we became experts and flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
So.
Listen, we're not Gen Z.
We're
okay?
not fucking Gen Z here,
Sorry.
guys.
But
So
yeah, user Kudos Inc.
Kudos Inc. is our bud, by the way.
Yeah.
I think I actually owe she, they an email.
Yeah.
They pointed out the post about the passing of Larry Tesler is an inside joke. Larry Tesler didn't actually found the subreddit. jokes, as far as I can tell. So it was all an inside joke, and we did a whole episode about the guy, how when he died, he was the founder of Our Jokes. And
Right.
none of that's true,
And the idea,
except for he did die.
However, I will say it was still pertinent to, it was like took over Reddit.
Yeah.
So I am okay that we covered it because that was kind of the point is we cover things that are happening on Reddit and it was like a thing that took over Reddit. We just didn't know that that wasn't true.
yeah,
Let's just
we
say-
pulled a boomer move, which
We got
Pick one. Nice.
we got burned real hard.
we did.
That's cool.
So the
though.
idea behind the inside joke is that Larry Tesler invented the copy paste function.
Right.
So the idea is that on Our Jokes, all of these are just copy pasted jokes. Like none of the jokes are original. So the idea is, ha ha, Larry Tesler invented Our Jokes.
We got burned hard.
We got burned hard. We flew too close to the sun. We had a boomer moment, but
But
you
look,
kept us honest. So thank
You
you.
kept us honest. That said, though, again, I will defend it. Even if that is the case and we do that, when it fucking happens on Reddit to the mass that it did, we got to talk about it.
yes.
And I
Well,
think
yeah.
that, like, I was like, oh, this is a good reason to go over Our Jokes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we were kind of like, jokes, these jokes are stupid. That's fine.
These are so dumb, and I love it.
Yeah.
We're right, you're wrong. Smoke on that, dude.
Smoke on that. Legalize it. But appreciate you bringing that up. Every time we make a mistake,
Do
tell us, and we will bully you into justifying why we made that mistake.
Yeah.
And so,
Burn
We'll
us
deny.
hard.
no, yeah, we actually do appreciate it because we have said a million times, but we will never become experts at Reddit because there's no such thing, to be completely honest. We just participate like everybody else, but participate on mass. So we're bound to do these kind of mistakes often, and that's fine. And hope we make more mistakes because I think it's more of a reason to fucking engage with y'all.
We're a big enough pod to admit it. That's all we're saying.
Well, we're not a big enough pod to admit it. We are.
The
a
reason
small-
why
a small
we're
pod.
the reason why we're admitting it is because nobody's paying attention.
yeah.
Ew.
If we were CNN, we would dig our heels in and say, "No, we right."
No, we right. But anyway, yeah. So yeah. But anyway, tight. Monkey's paw is rad.
Yeah. Never make a wish upon a monkey's paw, guys.
Well, you can, but just expect some hilarious
shit to go
consequences.
down.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be back next week. Another pod about the internet by way of Reddit. The front page of the internet. My name is It's Your Dad.
Dog boobs.
My free day.
Bye.